Good morning, Winning Shot family. We are back with a special episode on the eve of the College Football National Championship. Man, we have had an exciting playoff thus far. I'm Colin. I'm with my friends John and Zach. Man, how are y'all feeling about the playoffs as a whole? How'd y'all feel about all the games coming up and all the games this weekend? What was the initial reaction?
Yeah, yeah. Man, I tell you what, I was looking at. Of course, you had Thursday, Friday night games. So the first Thursday night game against Penn State and Notre Dame, I really thought it was a dogfight the whole way through. Both teams was kind of back and forth the entire game. It really came down at the end of who wanted to really be a man. And honestly, I thought the quarterback play wasn't the best on both sides, and I think the quarterbacks even acknowledged that in their closing interviews at the end of the game that both of them, Ryan Leonard and Aller, I think that's his name, Aller, didn't have the best games, and it showed because Aller threw that game-sealing pick at the end. It kind of allowed Notre Dame to get the ball back. So, man, uh, that game was the best out of the two games, in my personal opinion. Um, just because I feel like it was more evenly matched. I thought that Ohio State and Texas would be that on yesterday, but after we got, I mean, it was decent. Don't get me wrong, it was evenly matched in the first like 2.5 quarters, and then Ohio State just kept making like plays. I was like, ooh, that's going to change the game. So like the touchdown before the half, huge. Didn't know it would be that big. You know what I'm saying? You score a touchdown with 20 seconds left, and it's like, okay, they could do something in the second half, but Texas never really recovered. They kept trying to like play catch up the whole night, and it just caught them at the end where it just never really mattered, and they wound up, of course, taking the L. So the next championship, man, it's gonna be very interesting because we got a powerhouse team, and now when it's Ohio State going up against this Notre Dame team, which I consider like they really are the fighting Irish, but they really fight for an opportunity to win this natty because I don't know, how it's going to look. Now, don't get me wrong; they had a very strong performance against Penn, and I know we'll get into that matchup a little bit later on. But it sets up an intriguing matchup between these two teams because I feel like one is coming in; they both coming in hot, but Ohio State just seems to be a towering favorite right now. And I'm pretty sure that if you look at the betting odds, the Ohio State definitely has the betting odds. I haven't even taken a look at the line, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. And I thought it was good weekend overall for college football.
I know how you feeling.
I ain't gonna hold you. We was talking about this a couple days ago during that Penn State game, and I was like, man, it's not a great game. Like they turned it up in the second half, but like the first half, I was just like, bro, like this junk is boring. Like I wasn't that intrigued. Like Notre Dame had to come down and get that field goal late, maybe 10-3 at halftime. But then that second half, they woke up. Both teams kind of woke up. Like that was a very entertaining second half. And like you said, John, the quarterbacks didn't play the greatest. I know we had talked about previous episode about Riley Leonard being dynamic. He was not dynamic. He was not dynamic at all, especially throwing the ball. But I thought that the running backs did very good in both of the games. In all honesty, so we'll see. I think the running backs will definitely play a big factor in the championship game. But like I said, that first game wasn't that entertaining to me until the second half. Defenses showed up and showed out, and they made good plays. And then the Ohio State Texas game, like you said, that touchdown before the half was crazy. Like you can't give up a touchdown on a screen pass right before halftime after your team just scored on a running back screen pass. You give up a touchdown? Like, come on, man. That's that's tough. I was looking at number 3. I think he was playing safety for Texas. He came straight down running at the quarterback. Like, bro, you just disregarded the running back and just I don't know what he was thinking. But yeah, so that was interesting. But we'll see. Like John said, both teams are hot right now. Notre Dame's actually probably the hottest team. Like they've won what 11, 10 straight, something like that. Like they're on a crazy winning streak right now, despite all the injuries that they're going through. Um, Marcus Freeman got them boys playing right at the right time. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. I think this whole playoff has been all about defense, man. Like I think we kind of glorify the offense and how it's become an offensive league, but I think what these last couple of games showing you is like whoever got the better defense is going to thrive. And like you said, Hundo, like Notre Dame hot, and I think their defense has definitely pulled the offense through some tough matchups. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think the winner of the national championship will depend on who has the better defense and who makes the stops at the right time. Man, so we're going to transition to the first game with Penn State and Notre Dame. Number 7 Notre Dame took on number 6 Penn State in a back and forth matchup. Notre Dame won 27-24. Notre Dame gets a late pick and field goal to make the title game, which marks the first time a black head coach has made it to the national championship in college football. Drew Aller threw for 12 for 23, 135 yards with one crucial interception. Riley Leonard had 15 for 23, 223 yards, one touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Tyler Warren had 6 receptions for 75 yards, and Jeremiah Love had 11 carries for 45 yards and 1 touchdown. How your boys felt about that game? What was your thoughts?
Yeah. First of all, Mr. Allard, I'm glad you enrolled back in school in the semester because I mean, like I said, neither quarterback had a good performance. That's very true. Both of them honestly cost the teams the games at different points. Because at one point I thought Raleigh cost Notre Dame the game. So I think that both of them. Well, I'll say this: Riley Leonard, because he's in the championship now, he needs to step up and going into the championship game because that performance is gonna get them abused. I mean, take off the belt. It's gonna be move your hand. If he plays that against Ohio State, I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm gonna call that. If he plays like that, that's a move your hand game. But also in addition to that, Jeremiah Love. I know he's been injured, but he showed some dog. Don't get me wrong. He had a great that touchdown run he had. Ooh, grown man run for sure. They're gonna need more of that against Ohio State because them boys are bringing it for sure. Against Penn, you know what I'm saying? He did what he had to do. I mean, he's still coming off injury. You can tell he's still not 100%, but he's giving it his all because that this is a crucial opportunity that his team needs. Outside of that, I want to see what the rest of us can do for Notre Dame. Defensively, they had great turnovers, obviously. They played good defense. They kept it close. The offensive, I think they can help them out a little bit more when it comes to getting better positions and then getting more touchdowns because they had 27 because they had 50 field goals. So turn those field goals into points. Got got them over whatever game. Shout out to Warren, tight end from Penn State, but he's a dog. I mean, nobody can stop him all night. Nobody can stop him no playoffs. And so it didn't matter what he was doing, whether he was catching it, whether he was running it. They had him in different formations at quarterback. Like he really was a unicorn for that team. Now I think they're gonna miss him heavily next season, just because of what he brought in production to this season as the Mackey Award winner. So overall, I thought it was a good game, man. I really enjoyed seeing, like I said, the back and forth, and like I said, we got to have better quarterback play, both sides of the ball, both teams going forward. Penn State. It's going to really, I think it's a decision time to say, okay, do we trust Allard to kind of lead us again next season? I know that's tough criticism, but I think it's fair because, I mean, he had a good season, but if you want to be in a position again, I think you have to kind of look at, especially with the way, like, with the transfer portal going, and is there someone out there that could potentially put us in a better position coming back next season? So just something to think about with Penn State. I'm just John Carmichael, but, hey, just think about it. But yeah, going forward, shout out to Notre Dame's coach, man. Love to see the African American man. You said the first, right, to go to that championship game. So that's huge. That's huge. So shout out to him, and we'll see if we can get the job done, man. Tall task. That's the first to do it. Very tall task in the Ohio State team is gonna be throwing everything at you. So we'll see how he responds.
For sure. Hundo?
I think just going off what John said, talking about Drew, like, I think that running game was a big factor of how they were throughout the season too. You got 2 running backs rushing for over 1,000 yards. Like that's tough. So like you said, they're definitely gonna miss Warren next year. And just looking back at the game, like Singleton, 84 carries, 3 touchdowns. Katron Allen, 82 yards, no touchdowns, but still, like they both were balling. Like I think. Yeah. With Drew struggling, you got to find a way to get them boys the ball just a little bit more. They both had the ball a good bit, but just feed them the ball. Just take the ball out of Drew's hands. Don't allow him to lose the game in those type of situations. And then for Notre Dame, I definitely think moving forward, like you said, Riley definitely has to play better. Can't turn the ball over. But I think he has to use his legs, be more effective using his legs, especially with Jeremiah Love not being 100%. He still hurdled somebody, which was crazy to see, despite him, being banged up. But I also think that Notre Dame's defense, they drew up some pressures, timely pressures, on the quarterback. So I think that's going to be big going up against Ohio State, how they generate pressure defensively.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with your boys, man. I think both teams are equally matched. I honestly think that Penn State had a better roster. Like at the beginning, their defense was, on fire, but it kind of waned off towards the end of the game. And I'm pretty sure that has to do with Abdul Carter's injury. I think the biggest thing for me is like the fact that they didn't have any catches or any catches from the wide receivers. I feel like that's a travesty on Drew Aller and the offensive coordinator. I just feel like you could have opened the offense up more. It feels like they were kind of one-dimensional with the running game and Tyler Warren, and it just felt like Notre Dame, knew that, right? And I think even that pick they got that was called for pass interference, like he threw it in the triple coverage. I'm like, what are you doing, Aller? But I think they've gotten away with it versus mediocre teams the whole season, and now they're Drew was kind of exposed, which we can talk about later. But I think hurts his draft stock because they've seen him versus real competition and real defenses, and I don't think he really thrived in that. But shout out to Notre Dame, man. I think despite Riley Leonard's struggles, I think the running game came through, and they made some big plays in the with wide receivers. I know that there was a play where the cornerback failed, but it's still electric play.
He broke two of them boys, man. He broke two of them boys.
Thanks.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Like John said, it's going to be, very interesting this offseason because, we know the stat that James Franklin is like 4-25 in top 20 games. And that's been following him since he's been at Vanderbilt. And so he's gotten the recruits, but now it's like, can you win the big game? And next season, I don't think their roster gets any better. I mean, because they're going to be losing Carter, they're going to be losing Warren. So I don't know how they're going to transition, to next season because they're going to play the same opponents. But ultimately, yeah, that's true.
I'm sure they got crazy NIL money up there too. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, man. So let's transition to the next game. So Ohio State beat Texas in a thriller last night. Definitely was a late game, but number 8 Ohio State played number 5 Texas. Ohio State beat them 28-14. It was definitely a showstopper. Will Howard had 24 for 33, 289 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, while Quinn Ewers went 23 for 39 for 283 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Trevion Henderson had 6 carries for 42 yards and it had a big catch at the end of halftime. Wisner had 17 carries for 46 yards. How are your boys feeling about this late night game?
First of all, horns down. Yes, sir. Shout out to Ohio State, man, getting the job done. I was happy that they beat them boys after Texas beat Clemson.
I'm the biggest hater.
I'm gonna say as an avid hater of teams that beat my team, I was so happy to see that them boys went out like that. But no, in all seriousness, but seriously though, I was happy to see them lose. But I thought the game was going to be better in regards of I feel like it was kind of slow in the first half. I expected more scoring because Texas was a high-scoring team all season. They were able to score quick. And so was Ohio State. Both were big play offenses, but the defenses came out early and kind of just asserted dominance on both sides of the ball, both teams respectively. And so that caused the teams to kind of have to rethink on kind of what was going to happen. Start off early with 7-7, and then nobody really scored again until right before the half when Ohio State got that late touchdown, like 20 seconds left. And at that point, it was like, okay, going into halftime, what are you going to do coming out of half? And it kind of continued a little bit, and it came 14-14. It didn't really get interested to the fourth quarter because I think they went into the fourth at 14-14. And so to end the game the way that they did, Ohio State, man, it really just kind of just speaks testament to their defense, right? Because offense, I think they scored one more touchdown with Judkins to give them 21-14 score. And then the defense caused that fumble return for a touchdown at the end of the game to really seal it. And so, man, it really Texas is just looking out of sync, in my personal opinion, all night, especially after the loss of Golden, who was their top receiver throughout the playoffs. I think that, of course, put a damper in what Quinn Ewers was used to because he's really used to Golden kind of bailing him out when he didn't have anywhere else to go. And when we saw he didn't have that, it was kind of just like, oh, taking sacks, fumbles, throwing picks, throwing the ball away, a lot of incompletions. So the defense, like I said, kind of did their job to the best of their abilities. They shut down Jeremiah Smith, who I told y'all from week 1 was my dog at Ohio State. He only had not really many.
One catch for 3 yards.
Yeah, something really low. 1 catch for 3 yards last night, and so for him to be, the one that has been leading the team on playoffs, for him, they did that, but they still had a barrage of other weapons that they were able to use. You know what I'm saying, and to beat them. So I thought Ohio State did a good job showing their versatility and their diversibility while using all their other weapons as well last night. And they're going to have to continue to do that because I feel like Notre Dame's going to have the same kind of game plan to try to at least stop one person, but you can't stop everybody with Ohio State. That's what we learned last night. You kind of got to pick your poison because they still have other dogs out there. And Mike finally showed up. I was waiting for him to kind of show up, and last night was kind of his coming out game in the playoffs. So obviously he's had that in the regular season, but in the playoffs, it's kind of been the Jeremiah Smith show. And so last night to see Mike and the other receivers and tight ends kind of come in and lend a helping hand, it was pretty cool to see. Shout out to Ohio State, man. Like I said, them boys really did it. And to have that game-sealing fumble return from Jack Sawyer, who was the teammate to Quinn Ewers whenever he was at Ohio State, man, it's kind of like it was poetry in motion. You know what I'm saying? To see them boys kind of end out like that, because it could potentially be the end of Quinn Ewers' career at Texas, whether he transfers or goes to the NFL. I would highly not recommend doing the latter option. But he's a grown man, make your own decisions. But it's gonna be it was interesting to see how that ended off. And just even still at the end of the game, the love that was still shared between kind of some of the coaches and the players to Quinn, even in that beatdown. So, yeah, that's what I got.
I think, like I mentioned earlier, I think that touchdown that they gave up before the half was big. Like, you just can't let that happen. After you tie the game, you're supposed to be going into halftime tied.
Yep.
Instead, you go into halftime down 7. Like, that changes the game right there. Like you mentioned, they bounced back and scored in the third quarter. But like I said, the running backs showed up in this game, whether it was running the ball or receiving on both ends, on both teams. So shout out to the running backs, Travion Henderson, Quinshawn Judkins, Blue on the other side. Them boys showed up, man. So we're gonna see. Like you said, Golden going down was definitely big early on in the game. You lose him, but I think they adjusted pretty good, utilizing the running backs, especially in the passing game. They were abusing those Ohio State linebackers in the passing game. So I thought that was big. But like you said, just too many weapons for Ohio State. Too many weapons. Shut down Jeremiah Smith. That pick that he threw, he was trying to throw it to Jeremiah Smith. So that clearly showed you they had him locked up. They had 2 people on him all night, literally.
Yep.
But they showed that they could win without him. So that was big. That was good to see other people step up. Like you said, they got so many weapons, whether it's running backs or receivers. So it's going to be interesting to see how Notre Dame tries to deal with that. Like I said, they're definitely going to have to generate some type of pressure to move Will Howard around. And hopefully he makes some mistakes and turns the ball over. That's all you can hope for in that situation with all the weapons, bro. So
True.
I'll see.
Where I'm gonna be real for a moment. I feel like it's a bigger indictment on Texas. I mean, we know Ohio State got the best roster in the playoff right now, but there was one play that I was pissed off about. When Quinn Ewers, right before the half, got that touchdown, he and the lineman did that dance like they were up.
I saw that joke, bro.
And I feel like that dance was the epitome of their entire season. They over here celebrating like they just won the national championship. And I'm like, I feel like what Quinn and the lineman did in that dance was like their entire roster on the sideline. And that's why they weren't disciplined when it came to that, 75-yard screen pass. And I'm just like, throughout the playoffs, Texas has played down to their competition. Like Clemson, I think Clemson had a great game plan, but I think with the Arizona State game, man, Texas had a way better roster. And it's like y'all were making dumb passes, Quinn Ewers, but also too with the game plan, it's just like, man, y'all should be blowing these people out. And I'm just kind of tired of like Texas having all these resources. And you see on one side with Ohio State, these guys are blowing out Oregon, blowing out Tennessee, and doing what they're supposed to do. But for Texas, this is like game after game, we have like these close games when it shouldn't be this close. And it's not even with the playoffs, also in the regular season. Like we're gonna be honest, who did they really beat? I mean, they didn't beat Georgia, and I feel like their biggest win probably was Texas A&M and Texas A&M, which was a good win. But I mean, now that you look at it, it's like, I mean, this was a very regular team. So I just feel like the same kind of arguments that we have with James Franklin and Penn State, we need to start having about Sark, because I feel like if you're James Franklin, you look at Texas like y'all got millions of dollars in NIL, so y'all can get some of the best talent, and y'all don't produce. I mean, shout out to Ohio State. Definitely defense came through. Just like we talked about Jeremiah Smith, I feel like we need to give equal love to Caleb Downs, because he is really the quarterback on that defense making some plays. But I'm not really a fan of Ewers. I think there were a couple of passes where he was like wildly overthrown. And I just feel like with their game plan, even with the arch play, it just seemed like everything was scripted. And when it doesn't go according to plan, I don't feel like Texas can ever adjust.
Do you think it's more coaching, or do you think it's more the player personnel? Because my thing is, shoot, they went and got Isaiah Bond. He was a dog at Alabama. He barely been doing anything.
Yeah, I think about that.
So is it coaching, or is it just the players not being able to get him the ball or get people the ball and put people in the right position?
I think it's a mixture, in my personal opinion. I'd say is, like you said, I mean, you got Isaiah Bond, you had Golden, who was slated to be their deep threat this year. And they had another receiver, I think, that was out there that's supposed to be like that out as well. Then they had Blue running back. They had one more dude at running back, I believe. And so, like, you got the pieces. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, mentioned earlier, all season they were a high-scoring offense. You know what I'm saying? They scored quick, they scored fast. And that's how they were able to beat the first two teams in the playoffs the way that they did, because they were able to score so quickly and able to be so efficient on the offensive side of the ball. But like Collin mentioned a minute ago, I think they also had an issue when it came to the level of competition that they were playing. Especially last night, it showed, because it was like when I miss Golden, or if I quote unquote adjust, it's like, okay, where's my other personnel to help me overcome or overcompensate for lack of whatever. Now, don't get me wrong, they definitely made some good plays. I think Quinn had a couple good throws for sure. The receivers were getting open. They were getting a lot of holding calls on the DBs of Ohio State. They couldn't really cover them for a good bit of time. But you got to the point where you couldn't give them the ball. So it's just like, it really was just kind of hit or miss throughout the night. And so, like Collin said, I think both factors play a part when it comes to coaching, as well as players. Kind of, somebody got to be a man in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? And Ohio State took the opportunity and took it upon themselves to accept that challenge. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you shut down our best player. Bet we're going to show you we got 7 other more to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Or something similar, rather, to still beat you. So, and it's like at the end of the night, like, they just had more heart in Ohio State last night. Like, they knew it was on the line. They knew it was a national championship berth, like, waiting for them if they could just get past this test. And they continued to, like, make play after play after play to show, like, we're not out of this yet. You know what I'm saying? Every time I looked up, I was like, oh, they made another play, another Will Howard run on 4th and 1. Really should have scored, you know what I'm saying? But it's just those effort plays that really add up at the end. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Texas didn't, unfortunately, have enough of those. And when they did score, like Collin said, they were just overly happy when it's like, okay, the job's not finished. You know what I'm saying? So
I think going off what you said with like the effort plays and stuff, like when I was watching the game, especially like in the first half, like it was several plays where Texas receivers was like getting touched and getting bumped, and it's just like, bro, why are y'all looking for flags? Like, go make a play. Like they would show Sark reaction on the sideline. It's just like, oh, why didn't we get a call? Bro, go make a play.
Yeah.
Like, stop looking at the refs to call something, bro. Like, you gotta want that junk, bro. I don't think they really wanted it for real.
Yeah, and I don't know. I know they got Bond from Alabama, but there's nobody on the outside who can, like you said, go make a play. Like, I was like, okay, he's on the outside, we should be worried. And I just feel like, you know, it's no excuse, but even with Sark, it's just like a lot of his big game plays were screens. And I'm like, okay, let's come up with something different. You know, how can we incorporate more running plays, even in the midst of your screen game, to kind of open up the offense? And I feel like even with Quinn, like there were some plays where Bond was wide open and he just overthrew him. And I don't know why, like, you know, we talked about, you know, Bond jumping, and I'm thinking like maybe he jumping because how many times he's like overthrowing him. Like, my gosh, I would jump.
When he jumped for that pass, bro, I'm like, yo, why is he out there looking like Arian Smith, dog? Right, it was no reason for him to jump, bro. Like, just catch the ball, bro.
Facts, man. Facts. I don't know, bro. It's gonna be interesting to see, a lot of teams in this offseason because obviously Texas got the money to go get transfers in the transfer portal. But I just feel like it's more of a culture issue than just a roster issue because you can have the same roster next year. And even with Arch, it's like, how can we teach that toughness? How can we teach that grit to kind of get over the hump of these games? Because I feel like honestly, Ohio State losing to Michigan was the momentum builder for I feel like that toughness and grit. They knew they had to roster the whole season, but I think they needed to get punched in the mouth in order to respond like this.
Do you think Texas would have benefited more from using Arch more? I think they're kind of like, when I look at it, like I think like they're in a similar situation as the Steelers as far as having two quarterbacks that you can kind of go to. Definitely not on the same level as like Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, of course, but just the ability to have those two options to. No, I'm saying from like definitely Arch Manning is supposed to be like this guy and supposed to be good and whatnot, but like I feel like they could have utilized him more. Like
Yeah.
they could have gave him a few more packages, not necessarily just putting him in there to run. Like definitely show off his arm talent. Like just switch it up, just giving him something different to think about.
Yeah. It's funny because Texas a few years ago had a similar package. They had a two quarterback system. I forgot the quarterbacks' names, but they ran that similar package before. But I feel like it was a different dynamic of the way the quarterbacks were used. But like you said, they had more packages for that system. So I don't know if it was like, okay, we just want Quinn to be the guy, and I don't know if Quinn would have been okay with a split quarterback system because I think he was trying to get NFL looks this year. So I don't know how he would have reacted to that.
Man, we trying to win. I don't care nothing about what you talking about.
I hear that. It sounds good, but like when you got this in this age of NIL, like these kids know they're trying to get this money now. And then Quinn being someone who's already transferred once, he ain't afraid to do it again.
Bye.
It's
Arch.
It's easy to say that, but clearly they want him there, or else they would have been said bye. You know what I'm saying? So like you gotta like there was a conversation that was had or something. Maybe Arch wasn't as ready as we think he was. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's more pieces I feel like that could go into that piece. But we'll I think next year for sure see because like I said either Quinn's going to NFL or he's going to transfer. One of the two things are going to happen. So Arch, I think, in my personal opinion, will be the starting quarterback at University of Texas next year, which will give him a full season to see like, okay, should have more packages have been put in for you last year, or was last year more indicative of like what was going to be upcoming this year. So it's going to be interesting, like I said, what they do going forward, because I think they still have the pieces. And like Collin mentioned, it's going to be who's going to be coming in to play with Arch, because I think his name notoriety and him is going to bring in some more talent for them for sure. And so I think it's going to only help them. So I don't know. I think it potentially could work out better for them next year. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how their practices were, but it seemed like with every play with Arch, it was designed for like a run. So I personally, as a coach, wouldn't have thrown him out there right now because Ohio State with that defense would have rattled them. I think if they were going to do that, they should have incorporated that more throughout the season. But I don't know, man. We're going to see because obviously we definitely dogging Ewers right now, but we don't know how Arch is going to look, especially versus defense like this. So I don't want to just say that Arch would have been better, especially because he hasn't got that much play in games like this. So I don't know, man. It's just I don't really blame Sark for that. I just think Ewers has to be better. Like he knew he's the starter. He knew he had to produce, and he knew what was on the line. So it's a couple plays, and also too, in that same vein, we got to talk about the offensive line because the offensive line was terrible. Even on that strip sack, it was like, what were you doing 56? I mean, that right tackle was terrible. And Sawyer made a nice swim move, but he really didn't have to do much the whole game in order to get to the quarterback. And I mean, you're Texas. So it's like, I'm pretty sure those offensive linemen are getting well compensated. Y'all got to produce in games like this. And even though it's Ohio State, y'all boys are acting like, y'all never passed block before. So
yeah,
it's just kind of a mixture of stuff.
Got to win that one-on-one matchup, man.
All right, so let's briefly preview the national championship. So Ohio State and Notre Dame are getting ready to face off January 20th in Atlanta. Obviously, the lines have come out. It looks like a lopsided matchup, but we know Notre Dame has a chance. They definitely have defied the odds the whole season. Um, how you boys feeling about the national championship as a whole?
Uh, Give me Ohio State. You know, like I said, I just think it's just a barrage and a plethora of talent on that side, man, on that roster. And I don't know if Notre Dame's going to have the team to keep up with them. I think they had a great season up until this point, and I think that the game could surprise me, but will it? I don't think so. Um, I just, I don't trust Riley Leonard against this Ohio State defense, and that's what it really comes down to for me personally. Um, I really don't. He struggled. He struggled to pass. I feel like a couple games, and so I just feel like when I saw him play against Penn State, like I told you earlier, if it gets to any kind of a similar performance, it's going to get real bad for Notre Dame. When his mom sends him that "you suck" text before the game, he should listen this time because I know she sends that as motivation. But son, this is a team right here that's full of grown men. So this could be a make his legacy game. But will it be? Once again, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be able to rise to the competition of Ohio State. Like you mentioned earlier, they got just too many players on each level of the ball. That's just like, going to be able to take away his options. And then that pass rush coming to him all night. I don't think that the running is going to be a good idea for him because then you got potentially Caleb Downs coming down to, looking to smack you. You got Jack Shorty still out there looking to get another strip sack. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, they're gonna come out with some heart first couple drives, but I think Ohio State will eventually assert their dominance, and I think that they're gonna win that championship. So that's my early pick here. So I got three.
Yeah, I got 3 words for that defensive coordinator for Notre Dame. Don't go man. Don't go man at all.
Peace.
Like you need to stay in zone the whole game because I don't think that the corners on the outside have anything compared to what the firepower that Ohio State has on the offensive side. I feel like they go zone, if they make some plays defensively and keep it close, then maybe they can have a fourth quarter miracle. But I feel like if they're going to try to go toe for toe with Ohio State and go man and try to pass the ball, it's going to be ugly quickly because I feel like Ohio State is motivated now. I feel like because they lost to Michigan, they want to leave the season with something. And I just don't think that with Notre Dame's offense right now, it seems very run centric, either with Jeremiah Love or with Riley Leonard. And I think that Ohio State has a bigger defensive line and they have the power to stop that. So I feel like Notre Dame's gonna have to open up the offense more and try to hold them on defense to 3 points, every drive, which I don't know if it's possible, but hopefully them boys are motivated to at least give effort.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be looking at too. The defensive side of the ball for Notre Dame, like they gotta drop some type of game plan to try to slow them down some type of way. Like you said, hold them to 3 points. Try to force some punts, just to try to stay in the game. Because I think Riley Leonard is going to play better than what he did last game. I don't see him having back-to-back bad games. I mean, it could definitely happen, but um, but I don't necessarily see that happening for Mr. Leonard. I think he's going to use that mom's text message to inspire and motivate him to play a little bit better. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be interested to see if Notre Dame's defense, especially their back end, if they can keep up with the outside threats of Ohio State and try to slow down the running backs. Like it's not it's not just the receivers on the outside. Like they got running backs too that can catch the ball and they can run the ball. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see, man. It's gonna be a tough task for that Notre Dame defense. But we're gonna see, man. They made it this far, so we'll see.
Yeah,
But I like Ohio State in this game.
for sure. So we've had a lot of great players and great plays in this playoff. Who y'all boys think has been the MVP of the playoffs thus far?
For the two teams remaining or just overall?
Just overall.
Um,
I think you have to go with Will Howard. I think that's probably the best pick. I mean, he's been consistent. I mean, yeah, he threw that one pick yesterday, but I mean, he ain't been playing too bad, bro. He hasn't been playing bad.
I ain't
He didn't play bad yesterday.
I'm not picking none of the quarterbacks that have played in the past 48 hours.
Hey,
not one of them.
hey.
I don't know, man. I feel like I judge quarterbacks harshly in college because
Yeah, you might be.
if you're looking to go to the next level, it's a lot.
I mean, you got to look at it just.
Speak your minds.
I just feel like Will Howard, like he's cool, but like he's no CJ Stroud. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think about back to CJ Stroud at Ohio State versus what Will Howard is doing. Like if he didn't have the weapons around him, I don't know if I trusted Will Howard to do anything. So for that instance alone, I got to pick the grown man, Mr. Jeremiah Smith. Now I know last night was not his best performance. If I look at MVP as a whole in this playoff, I mean, the man's been a grown man every round besides last night, and I think he'll come back in the national championship game and do some more grown man things again. Because I think he's probably upset at his own performance last night and the way he was, guarded and double teamed throughout the night. But I think that Ohio State isn't at this point if it's not for the performance that he had in the first two games, where he was just dominant. Just couldn't be stopped. So shout out to Jeremiah Smith, man. He would be my personal MVP of this playoffs, just because I think he played a huge part into Ohio State's success up until this point. Don't get me wrong, of course they got defensive guys that are very also pivotal, but the plays are made by Jeremiah Smith, man. With just he's been making them all year, up until this point. So that's why I would say personally my MVP. Quarterbacks, like I said, they cool, but I just don't trust none of them outside of college. So maybe that's an indictment on me. Maybe I should leave them where they at in the college days. But I feel like we do that, like, I don't know. Everybody's good in college or can be good in college. I don't know. I expect more. So
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna go on the other side of the ball, like I've been saying. These last couple episodes, man, Caleb Downs has been the MVP to me. I think just in the same way that, like Will Howard and Jeremiah Smith is impactful on offense, I think Caleb Downs has been equally as impactful on defense. Like even at Alabama, like we saw his worth. And so now in the national championship game, I think he's going to be the X factor. He's the one who puts everybody in their position. And even on top of that, he makes a lot of big plays and returns punts. So I just feel like in terms of value, like that defense wouldn't be the same without Caleb. So
yeah. I can see that. He's draft eligible, right? He's the junior.
Next season.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sophomore.
Yeah, he's gonna be tough for somebody next year. I think he'll leave after next year. So yeah, he'll be tough.
For sure. All right, so speaking about quarterbacks, we've had a lot of news in the past couple of days about quarterbacks that are either coming back or going to the draft. One of the notable names was with Carson Beck. Everybody expected him to go into the NFL draft, but after an uneventful end of the season, he decides to come back and transfer. News has come out that he is transferring to Miami. Some people have speculated that it's going to be a 1-year, $4 million deal. How you boys feeling about that move as a whole?
You could have just said an uneventful season for Carson Beck, because he was trash. He was not that good. Now I don't know if that was too much on him or the lack of talent around him.
Yeah,
because they really didn't have no receivers for real. To go from Brock Bowers and Lad McConkey to Arian Smith jumping up trying to catch a pass, they didn't really have too many weapons. But yeah, Carson Beck was uneventful this whole season. But I'm glad he was able to go somewhere else and get an opportunity just to continue to play. I was low-key surprised that he low-key transferred though, because like I said, like it was an uneventful season, but like as a Georgia fan, like he's beating out Gunnar Stockton. Like he's the starter. Like, so if you're gonna stay in college, like you might as well stay at Georgia. Like what you got to lose, really. So I was interested by the actual transferring to go to Miami. But yeah, I think it was a good decision that he decided to go back to college and not enter the NFL draft because, like I said, he was uneventful all season. So that's my take.
I agree. I know you probably got to say something too, Collin. But y'all know how I feel about Carson Beck. I just don't think he's a good quarterback, man. That's just me. That's just my personal indictment on the guy. I've been saying that for the past. Well, he been starting quarterback for how many years? This is his first year starting, or was this last year?
Last 2 years.
Yeah. I just not high on the kid. I don't know. I don't know, man. I just don't like the way he plays ball. Like I don't know. Like I just don't feel like he's like I said. Like when I think about quarterbacks who get ready to go to the NFL, it's a good thing he stayed because his draft grade would have been day 3. Like he really would have been a Stinson Bennett like 2.0. Like I just don't have faith in him in the NFL as a quarterback.
And the crazy thing is, like coming into the season, they were saying he could possibly win the Heisman.
Exactly. That's
bro, that was a legit conversation. Like,
yep, I remember.
The Heisman, bro, and like didn't do nothing this year, bro.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like he didn't live up to the hype. He reminded me of Spencer Rattler. I remember Spencer Rattler when he had all that hype at Oklahoma, and they were crowning him to be this next guy, and like he just fell off. And it's like, what the heck? Like you were supposed to be him, and wound up transferring to South Carolina. Once again, uneventful, and we saw it happen to him becoming a day 3 quarterback. I think the same thing would have happened to Carson Beck had he decided to come out this year. So I think that him transferring to Miami was the best decision for him because not only did he get paid more money than he would have had he been drafted, he gets another year of opportunity to show that he's worth day 2 pick. I don't think he's ever going to be a first-round quarterback. Personally, he could be depending on the quarterback class coming up next year. That's probably another good opportunity for him to kind of play that in there, but I don't think that if the team is smart, they would take him in the first round. I just don't think he has the talent to like be a first round or league. When I think of first round quarterbacks, like I'm thinking like you're coming in to like change the franchise. And we've seen enough first round bust quarterbacks to know what a good one looks like. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I don't think he fits the bill.
Yeah, I think that surrounding him with like better weapons will help though, because like you even look at a situation like Will Howard, like he was balling at Kansas State. You put him with better talent. I mean, he's still balling. Like he just put himself in a position to get drafted higher. So yeah, I think if you're Miami, like you have to surround him with weapons. Like I said, like you had Lab McConkey and Brock Bowers the year before, and Buddy didn't look bad. Like I definitely think you got to put some weapons around him for him to succeed. But he's definitely not like that guy that can put the cape on and do it himself. He definitely needs some help around him.
For sure.
Yeah, I was surprised too why he decided to transfer Hondo. But honestly, now that I think about it, he probably transferred hot. And I probably think that the ACC is much better than the SEC. You know, the competition that he'd be facing.
Or he was ducking the smoke. He didn't want to do that SEC.
Yeah,
and
teams that you got to go up against week in and week out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's hiding. I think that he knows that them SC defenses are real. And I think with like probably 2 years ago prior, like it would have worked for a Stetson Benson type of quarterback and Carson Beck type quarterback to thrive in Georgia's roster because, 53-man roster, you probably have half of those players being 5 stars, but a lot of those 5 stars are, transferring out. And so now you're going to be put in tough situations where it's going to be the quarterback is the difference. And I think Carson knows that he wasn't going to be the difference at Georgia. It's going to be interesting even in Miami because, I mean, like obviously the ACC is weaker in terms of conference, but they're no slouches. I mean, even with Clemson, I don't know if they necessarily have the same roster as they did this year with Cam Ward. And so hopefully they make some other moves in the transfer portal surrounding him with weapons. But if they have to put the cape on in Miami, I don't think that Carson Beck can have the same effect that Cam Ward had this season in terms of putting teams on his back. Because Miami almost lost to Cal this year.
But also Miami also got a top wide receiver, Restrepo.
Oh yeah, he's coming back.
That boy cold. No, I think he declared for the draft, or did he come back?
I don't know.
What's this?
Restrepo, the wide receiver from Miami. I don't know if he declared for the draft or if he's coming back or not, but
I'm not sure either.
But yeah, Cam Ward definitely did have a top weapon like that. But is Carson Beck gonna have a top weapon? at Miami. Like who gonna be that guy that he go to? Like, and
And
clearly,
even with that top weapon though, they still lost what 2-3 games, like, and
yeah,
versus sorry teams. So I don't know if
yeah.
Carson Beck has that same, because I mean, in a lot of those games, even that they won, Cam Moore was the difference. He made a play late, and I don't know if Carson Beck has that same.
They should have had about like 5 losses for real, bro. Like they barely won some of them games at the last second.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree, man. I think that Carson's just not going to cut it. I think, of course, money played a factor into it. And then his girlfriend goes to Miami. You know what I'm saying? So I think that played another big factor into it as well. Just trying to probably just stay with her. And Miami throwing him a bag. So it's like win-win. You know what I'm saying? So, and like we said, at the end of the day, I just think that he looked at the NFL and saw those are going to be grown men. I'm not ready for that. And so let me get my security blanket, which is $4 million in this deal I'm about to take, and come on back to school for another year of fun. So, yeah, man.
So speaking of Carson, I know we talked about Quinn briefly. You know, everybody is expecting Quinn to declare for the draft. What do y'all boys think based on this postseason? Where should
He should have left last year. I know Arch Manning was sick.
Yeah, I know Arch Manning was sick.
Like, bro, this is supposed to be my team, bro. And you coming back? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he definitely got to go this year, though. Based off the postseason, of course, like, y'all been talking kind of crazy about him. I don't think he that bad. Like, I think he's definitely like, 4th or 5th best quarterback in this draft, which is not, terrible. I think if he would have left last year, I don't know where he would have been in them rankings. He might have been up. He might have been up there with Bo Nix. I don't know. I think the Broncos probably could have taken him in that spot. I wouldn't have been mad at it, but yeah, I think definitely he has to declare for the draft. There's no need for him to go back to college, bro. Like what are you gonna do, bro?
should make him get another bag, one more year?
I mean, I guess, but like now you're what, 24, 23? Like you getting up there, bro. 25.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you'd have been pissed off if the Broncos would have taken Quinn Ewers in Bo Nix last year.
At the time,
yeah, John, we got to be honest.
At the time, like don't think about what Bo has done, but like at the time, bro, like
no, yeah, I agree. Like,
he was probably in that conversation of being the 3rd, 4th, 5th quarterback taken.
Indeed.
I think would have put him in that. Huh?
I think a lot of teams reached for quarterback last year in the NFL draft. They got scared and like just picked the quarterback.
And we got to be honest, John. Like this is Bo Nix with Sean Payton too. So like,
yeah,
you get the right OC. I mean, Quinn could look, much different. If that makes sense.
I don't know about much different, but
he's not that bad.
I don't know, bro. Like it's just something about that kid, man. Like sometimes he throws great passes. Sometimes he really does like throw accurate, good deep balls and like stuff like that. But then sometimes I look at him like you're just not it. And so I don't know. Like I told y'all, that's how I feel about the quarterbacks that are in college right now, outside of Cam and Shador. Like it's just they really hit or miss, and I don't really see like future first round pick like franchise changing quarterbacks in this upcoming draft class. Even this upcoming year, I don't necessarily see those either. And it's like y'all could be good, developmental pieces for teams to come, but like I don't see those guys in college right now, and in Quinn, I don't see him as a franchise changer, as a first round pick. Like I said, I'm thinking somebody my quarterback in the future. They don't give me those vibes. They give me the middle pieces.
But I don't think Shador or Cam are exponentially better than some of these quarterbacks in playoffs. To be honest, my opinion.
Exponentially better, no. But I think that these Cam and Shador could put you in a better position than what what's his name, Will Howard could do. Me personally, I think that.
Go back and look at Will Howard, Kansas State tape, bro. He cold, bro.
He's definitely cold.
Ohio State not using him how Kansas State used him, but bro, Will Howard is tough, bro.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I find it good. Like a lot of guys are good in college. And I think that's the point, y'all. That's the point. Like I think we like different. That is like it's a lot of guys who are good at college, but I'm thinking like NFL wise, you got grown men coming at you every Sunday. I don't know if certain kind of guys' games translate because if we're gonna
So
go back,
so
like
question, do you think Shador games translates? Because when I look at Shador, he don't throw the ball away and he don't run. When you got guys coming after you, that's gonna be a problem.
indeed, I think he's gonna have to definitely have to throw the ball away in the NFL for sure. That's gonna be if he does it, it's gonna be a quick NFL career for him.
Yeah.
But I think that I would personally trust him more in to be well prepared in those NFL situations versus probably Leonard or
I'm gonna take a guy that can run and get out of there versus whatever you saying about Shador. I guess IQ or something or what, but he don't run, bruh. He don't throw the ball away. Like he
Yeah.
just sit there and go backwards and hold on to the ball, bro. Like
yeah.
that's gonna be a problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
indeed, I agree. I think he definitely has some work to do for sure. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But who's running? And like you saying, Quinn Ewers is running because I didn't see him running last night.
Will
Like,
Howard, Riley Leonard.
I mean, those guys are running forward for sure. But I don't know if when plays break down, I don't see them making like get out of their plays. Like they run quarterback design runs. I don't see them running like getting out of their runs. Like I'm in trouble.
That's true.
They take those same sacks. My personal opinion. That
Yeah,
should
I just feel like there's a little bit of recency bias with everybody because the fact that Shador and Cam didn't make the playoff has actually been beneficial for them. Because I feel like if that Miami team or Colorado team played against Ohio State or even Penn State's defense, I feel like we'll be looking at both of the quarterbacks like, I don't know if they're necessarily first round talent. Like I think being in the playoffs and being in front of millions of viewers, it's just like all right, well, I don't know necessarily if these are necessarily franchise changing quarterbacks because we're gonna be honest, like the world didn't watch that Colorado BYU game, but Shador did not have the best game, and I
take.
think it's really an indictment on him as a quarterback. But nobody's talking about it because it was not a college football playoff game.
Y'all ain't want to talk about it.
Well, I told you it was terrible. We talked about. We had.
Y'all ain't want to talk about it.
We had an off-air conversation.
I wanted to bring it up, but
I mean, I think Collin is right in the fact of for sure. And was that dog walk? But I personally, after they lost to Kansas, I was like, oh yeah, your season's cooked. Like it clearly didn't want it bad enough. The team this year, I thought it was gonna be better than last year's team, but I don't know. They just never seem to fully like play at their potential. I also think Deion guys kept leaving him. Like I thought we're gonna stay and help to build the program some more. Like Dalen Edwards from that transferred to Kansas State. Like I thought had he stayed at Colorado, that'd have been a better help to Deion in that offense. They get a lot of receiver transfers, but what you reckon giving the ball, it's like you can't make the plays. You know what I'm saying? Because the offensive line is always under duress. Like it doesn't matter who. I don't know what's going on with the offensive line. That unit just bad. They wound up, and it's crazy. They had the number one tackle in the country come to commit and come to Colorado this year.
I think he was solid though.
He was good, but you
He had
need
that left tackle.
four guys. You need four other guys to help you out. That's the thing, So, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, as we get closer to these draft previews, and as we see who declares for this draft, I think that Quinn, if he does decide to come out, will definitely be top 5 quarterback in this draft class. For sure. I think that's a guarantee for him. So I think that helps him to come out this year. But also, if he stays another year, could help him to be number 1 or 2 in next year's class. So I don't know. He has a big decision to make. I don't think that Texas will see him again, though, personally, regardless when he goes to draft or transfers. So I don't think his time in Texas is done. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I need to go back and look at some more tape and some more film. Like I said, sometimes I like Quinn's game, sometimes I don't. I've been following Quinn since he, reclassed in high school and went to Ohio State that first year. So, like, I've been expecting big things from him because I remember watching his high school tape, like, oh, he's going to be tough when he gets to college. I remember the mullet and everything. Like, I don't know. Maybe I expect more because of those, because I've been following him for so long. So maybe I just need to see a little bit more from him before I'm like, okay, I can see him doing some more in the NFL.
Do you think it's more on him? I guess similar to the question I asked earlier. Do you think it's more on him or like the offensive coordinator? Do you
I
think the
think it's
play
a
calling
mixture of
will be
both.
better, or like
Yeah,
do you think
I
it's
think
just
it's
his lack of talent?
I think it's like I said, I think it's a mixture of both. Because like I said, he had talent this year on the field. Like when he had Gold on the field, he was throwing the ball really well, throwing deep balls. They had a great connection out there. Even with his tight end, they had a good connection out there. So like, I think when he builds chemistry with his team, he's pretty good, and I could see him being not a first round pick still, but leading going third round and being a high talent for somebody later on in his NFL career. Um, I don't know. I think that he needs a little bit more development. Me personally, before I give him that indictment of like I see him being one of those guys. I don't know, man. I think any of these NFL quarterbacks. I'm looking at the MVP right here, Lamar Jackson, and I'm like, bro, who's coming in to change these franchises, man? Like who's coming in to do that? And there's a lot of teams in the NFL that need a franchise player right now. The Browns are going to be looking for a quarterback replacement. The Raiders looking for a quarterback replacement. The Colts. Collin said all the time he hates AR, and I don't know why. But he wants another quarterback, and I don't know if Collin right now would take any of these quarterbacks over what he has currently. And I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. But in regards to like coming in and like, because as an NFL team, somebody's gonna play now and be able to help you win now. Some teams are looking to play the long game. Some teams have always played the long game, but some teams are looking to win. You know what I'm saying? I feel like in the coming years, there's gonna be a lot of quarterback positions that are gonna be opening up. I think after Stafford that's towards the end of his career, he'll be getting everything to hang it up. So LA will have some opening positions at quarterback soon. New York already has an opening position at quarterback. The Raiders got an opening position at quarterback. The Browns, what I'm saying? Like it's a good bit of teams like that need quarterbacks right now. So it's who's going to fill these positions, but are they going to be capable of doing that? You know what I'm saying, at the NFL level? Because there's a big jump between the NFL and college, as we saw with Kelly Williams this year. So.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both. I feel like even in this whole season, man, Texas has struggled running the ball. I think they kind of picked it up late with Clemson, but they've been trying to find a running game the whole season. And when you don't have a running game, it kind of hurts your ability to pass and hurts your ability for wide receivers to get open. So I think definitely the offensive coordinator or personnel, whoever's over that, needs to work on that for the next season. But I feel like for Quinn, like there was even like a 3rd and 7 that Golden came back in the game and he missed him. He overthrew him, and I feel like you've got to make the passes that you can control, right? And I think Quinn has to work on that, right? Even what John mentioned with AR, like AR makes some spectacular plays, but it's like the plays that he can control, he's overthrown them, can't make the check down. It's like that's what's going to separate a good quarterback from a great quarterback. And I do think that he needs more development. But to be honest, John, I mean, like, even if you put, like, for the Colts, you put Shador on our roster, I think we'll be good. But I think that there's going to be limitations in terms of everybody on the outside. So if you don't surround him with good talent, then good quarterbacks will look mediocre. So I feel like he has to go into the right situation. And I think, like, even if you talk about him going to the Giants, I think Malik Neighbors is a better wide receiver prospect than anybody we have on the roster, like in terms of wide receivers at the Colts. So I just feel like it's just all about situation and circumstance. So Quinn has to evaluate all of that before he makes a decision. Because I do think, him sliding in the draft could be beneficial for him. Maybe if he goes to a contender and sits behind somebody that may be transitioning out, it could be like a Michael Penn situation where it's like, okay, I'm learning, and when I step in, I'm able to take control of the team and kind of learn the offense better. So I don't know, man. But to answer your question, Hundo, I feel like it's on both. I feel like we need to have some honest conversations about Texas's coaching staff, but also Quinn as quarterback. This is your 3rd year, so you got to make some changes and be able to take the hump and take the cape on, and because you're at Texas, and I'm pretty sure he's getting paid well over $4 million. So this is why you're getting paid to win games like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, there's definitely a lot more news coming out. Y'all boys got anything else that's on your hearts about this offseason and just the playoffs as a whole?
Nah, I really don't. But quickly, all you on the subject of quarterbacks, real quick. I'm gonna transition from real quick from the college to NFL. The AP rankings came out, and Lamar Jackson is first team All Pro, according to AP voting. And so those same voters have a vote in the MVP race. The count was 30-18, Lamar to Josh Allen. How do you always feel about that? Because, I said it a couple weeks ago on the pod. Me and Hunter had a big old debate over MVP. And so that came out yesterday. And another interesting tidbit came out that the person who's won the AP first team quarterback usually wins MVP. And the past 2 times Lamar has won the MVP, he was first team all AP, all pro. So I just wanted to see what y'all thoughts were regarding that, and based on me and Hundo's debate and conversation a few weeks ago. And because of the 12-point difference in the voting, it wasn't close.
I think for me, my statement still stands from the past episodes. I feel like when we evaluate quarterbacks in the season, I feel like Josh Allen has been the most valuable player. I definitely congratulate Buttman for getting all pro 9, especially as a starting quarterback. We're gonna see today, man. I'm interested to see what they look like without Zay Flowers. I think they still can beat the Steelers, but moving forward, I think it's really gonna be imperative that they win in the postseason. But I mean, I feel like the thing that separates Lamar is he's not just doing what Josh does in terms of passing, but he's also able to add the rushing component and break records that way. So I definitely think both of them are great quarterbacks, but I just feel like in terms of value this season with all of the offseason circumstances and how much they lost on the offensive end, I still feel like Josh Allen should be the most valuable player.
Interesting.
Congrats,
I mean,
congrats to Lamar. That's all I gotta say. Congrats. Good job. You had a great season. You did. Yep. Good job. I mean, ain't too much I can say about that. Good job. Now go win in the playoffs. That's the next step.
Exactly.
Go win in the playoffs.
And here's the goalpost moving from these guys. I'm so glad they were able to move this over. Because hold on.
The goalpost not moving. It's just a continuation.
No.
An evolution.
Let me shift it. Because as we have already conversed about, the MVP award does not include the postseason. If it did, the voting would have already been completed. And if the voting is complete, is a regular season award. Congrats. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna keep. I just wanted to ask what y'all thought about the split of the voting that was placed and how it probably more than likely will be continuation of the MVP odds, which have also shifted in Lamar's favor. By the way, he went from plus 260 to minus something. And I remember last time we talked, more specifically, Hundo was saying, "Go put your money on that." I really should have. I should have put some more bread on that.
You would have came up. You would have lost your money.
But John, hold on. How would you feel though if he wins the MVP and they get bounced by the Bills in the playoff?
That would piss me off. But here's what I think, and then we'll talk about this in a later episode because we got to talk about this playoff bracket more in depth because we did a little pick. We got to talk about that. Man, it's really gonna be interesting. It really is. I said today and tomorrow are gonna show me a lot, and then if we get the matchup we're going to next week, we're gonna have another great conversation next episode, y'all boys. I'm so excited for today and tomorrow, man. I know we're already over time, so I'm gonna leave that alone. I just wanted to bring that up real quick while we're on the topic of quarterbacks. Lamar for MVP3, man. It's tough.
We just need to get a crash out episode whenever.
Yeah.
We just need a crash out episode. That's all I request. Whenever y'all lose, we're gonna have a crash out episode for you.
Man. And if the Ravens lose today, we gotta hop back on tonight. We
going live tonight.
We gotta go live.
It's crazy because they love to hate on the Ravens, but what if Josh Allen lose this weekend? Are we gonna have another crash episode from y'all too?
Oh, we supposed to lose.
See? And you see how the goalpost shifts so crazy?
We are. Y'all were supposed to be the
He said if Josh Allen
loses.
loses.
Josh Allen loses. Are we getting a crash episode from y'all two tonight?
Well,
or tomorrow?
If the Broncos win, I'm happy. I'm in a win-win situation right
here.
Yeah. I'm in a win-win situation right here, John.
Well, do we have to talk about it though? Do we have to talk about it?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
I just want to make sure it's consistent.
Can I just preface this by saying the Broncos defense is not bad?
No, Hundo.
Why be consistent?
No.
See?
Gotta be real.
See?
Hey,
that's all I'm saying.
The Broncos defense is not bad, bro.
But the thing is, what did Lamar do to the Broncos defense though? We got to be honest.
You gotta be consistent, bro. That's Hunter never want to acknowledge the inconsistency in what he says sometimes. It's okay, if Josh Allen loses to this Broncos defense, he's gonna be like you said, the Broncos did it, and it's Well, bro, okay, yeah, they did do it, but we gotta talk about your quarterback that you've been riding for all season.
But see, listen. I think the conversation would be more about what Bo Nix did, because Bo Nix still got to put up some points.
Okay, so Bo Nix.
Hey,
okay,
listen.
Hold on.
Just because they lose doesn't mean. Listen, just because they lose doesn't mean Josh Allen played bad.
Versus the Broncos.
If they lose, bruh, and Josh Allen can have a good game and they lose, bruh. We've seen, bruh, they lost to the Rams, bro. He had a great game against the Rams. They lost to the Rams.
Do you foresee them having the Broncos putting Rams numbers?
Hey, you never know, man.
I know.
What you just said it last episode. You said, I don't trust the Bills defense like that. That's what you said. That was your words.
I don't. But if they allow the Broncos to put up 44 points on them at home.
Hey, you never know.
Josh can't lose this game, man. Josh can't lose.
Hey, like I said, Josh Allen, they can lose and Josh Allen have a good game, bro. Just because they lose don't mean.
But did we still have to talk about it though?
Right.
Yeah, of course we gotta talk about it, but it's not gonna be
about. Are we gonna be consistent?
It's not. Listen, it's not gonna be about Josh Allen though. In the scenario that I just gave, if they lose and Josh Allen has a game, bro.
No.
No, we can't do that.
What can you say bad about him if he had a good game and they lost?
If Lamar goes for 275 with 3 touchdowns and loses to the Steelers, we're gonna be on his head tonight, right?
Exactly.
So
yes, you are.
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay, now you're lying. Lying. Okay.
No, stop it.
That's cap.
Stop it.
Because one, that's not gonna happen. 2, he gonna fumble or he gonna throw a pick somewhere in there.
See,
so here we gonna have something to talk about.
Here comes the bias.
We gonna have something to talk about, bro.
Here comes the bias.
We gonna have something to talk about. There's going to be a costly turnover from Lamar Jackson in that situation that they lose. Listen, if they lose, bro, when y'all lost to the Steelers the first time, what did Lamar do? Threw a pick.
So when Josh loses, it's never his fault. Is that what you're saying?
No,
y'all hear?
Listen,
y'all hear what he just said?
Listen.
He said, no.
I'm saying if that happens,
it can't be Josh's fault.
That's what I said.
Lose, Lamar got something to do with it.
Hey,
oh my gosh!
Listen. I said they can lose the game and he still have a good game.
But
I don't think Lamar can do that.
Yep, and that's the hate right there.
That's crazy. I can't agree with you.
I don't think Lamar can do that. I think if the Ravens lose, Lamar's gonna have some type of turnover.
But Josh is just turnover. He plays turnover-free football, and even it has a good game. Hey. And this is what I was talking about. When I would take my conversation.
Hey, I would take my chances. Hey,
this is what I'm talking about. I
would take my chances with that scenario. Josh Allen having a good game and not turning the ball over versus Lamar having a bad game or having a good game and turning the ball over.
Let me ask you this. Let's say equal stats. They both throw for 275 and 3 touchdowns. No picks. One loses. Lamar loses. Josh loses. Are we talking about both of them? No picks. No turnovers.
I don't think we have to talk about either one of the quarterbacks. Like, I think the conversation is on. I think you just said it. They had a good game, no picks. What is there to talk about?
But we've been doing that the whole season.
We have to talk about the other side of the ball because clearly something went wrong over there.
I don't know. We've been on the quarterbacks the whole season. If you lose, it's on you.
Listen. You can lose and it not be on you, bro. That's the thing. You can lose and it not be on you.
This only applies when Hunter's talking about Josh Allen, and it's clear he's
bro,
already.
Listen, we talked. No. We talked about this with Joe Burrow. They lost a whole bunch of games because of the defense. He had a great season. They lost games because of the defense. There's nothing bad we can say about Joe Burrow's season. They lost games because of that defense. Did we not? Thank you. Now y'all got nothing to say. Shut up.
I'm saying in terms of this argument, when we talk about quarterback, one thing we have evaluating is quarterback wins. And if wins is going to be a metric, then no matter what happens to the defense, no matter what happens to the special team, it's on you whether you win or lose. I'm sorry.
Not if you have a good game, bro. Not if you have a good game. If you have a good game and your team loses, bro, it's on the defense, bro. What more can you do?
Thank y'all for tuning into the winning
What
shot.
more can you do? What more can you do? As the quarterback, what more can you do? If you play good game, if you go out there and drop 50 points and your defense give up 52, I can't go out there and play defense. I'm the quarterback. I can't go out there and play DB.
I feel like once again that argument only works when it's against Lamar Jackson. But that's just me, bro.
Like I said, Joe Burrow had a great season, and they lost a whole bunch of games because of that defense. Did they not? Right or wrong? Right or wrong?
But the thing is,
hold
on. If Joe Burrow would have made the playoffs, right, in a miracle, would have made the playoffs, he would have been evaluated based on wins and losses. Nobody would have been talking about the defense. They would have been saying Joe Burrow.
Listen, he was still evaluated off wins and losses. But it's nothing you can say when somebody's playing good, bro. What bad can you say about Joe Burrow this year in games that they lost?
Nothing, but he hasn't won the season, so we have to evaluate it going into the next season. So I'm just saying, Josh and Lamar.
And listen, what did they say? This is the worst defense. This is one of the worst defense. That was the evaluation.
Right, but in this offseason, when everybody talking about who the best quarterback, who top 10, because everybody is good, the one defining metric is wins and losses. Who won, who lost. So if Josh loses to the Broncos, Lamar advances past him, then we're going to be saying Lamar is better because Lamar beat him head-to-head in the regular season, and he won more games in the postseason. We know this. This is why Pat is number one, because Pat hasn't had a good season statistically, but he has beat quality opponents and probably made the Super Bowl. So that's why we'll be keeping him number one. So I'm just saying, we put stats on the side. We got to talk about who won, who lost.
Wait a minute.
What?
John?
Yeah.
Who's been the best quarterback this year?
Best quarterback? Lamar Jackson.
So if you had to rank quarterbacks, Lamar's number one?
This season? Yeah. In my personal opinion.
Okay, so that means Pat done move, right, Collin?
Yeah. That's his opinion.
Okay. All right. So you don't think Pat moved?
No.
This season, Pat definitely moved. In my personal opinion.
Oh, okay, Collin. All right.
I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah. I think Collin could definitely agree that Pat has moved down the mountain this year.
He just said he didn't.
I'm saying Pat hasn't had a good season. But what I'm saying is Pat has won. Winner. I've been on the winning train the whole season. Winner.
For sure.
So is Josh Allen the winner?
Hey, he hasn't beat Lamar. He didn't beat Lamar this regular season, and he got to beat Pat. I think statistically.
Hold on, brother. He got more wins than Lamar.
For sure. And so the last episode, when we were talking about wins and losses, I was agreeing with you. I said Josh should win MVP. That was my main metric. I was like, Josh statistically has had the same season as Lamar, and if they both MVP favorites, he has more wins in the same conference. So I feel like he should be MVP. But I'm just saying, when it comes down to it, there's going to be no argument, especially if the Buffalo Bills and Baltimore Ravens play in the postseason and Lamar beats them. We can't say, oh, they both had a good game. No, we're going to be here saying that Josh lost. It ain't going to be, oh, who had a good game, who had a bad game.
I think that's my issue. I just feel like there's an inconsistent evaluation and it's clear, at least on Hundo's part. I can't speak for nobody else but Hundo Clark. And it's clear.
You can't speak for me. All you can speak for is Jonathan Clark, my brother. Correct that right now, brother.
Right.
I'm a man.
I can't speak for him. What I can do is use his own words against him. Because that I can do, and it's recorded. So I'm glad it is. This brother has clearly given us enough evidence tonight to show that he just has he just has a spite against Lamar. And you saw it using his own words now.
In 1080p.
Listen, I'm telling you. like the narratives that would literally be written in front of us. Like if Lamar loses on him, if Josh loses, he could have a good game. And it's like, dang, Lamar can have a good game. Like
I'm just saying,
crazy, or
listen.
the defense played bad. You say you didn't trust the defense. This is like you're giving him all of these excuses and these outs. You're giving him all these outs.
Listen,
but
John.
Lamar gets no kind of, no. Let me finish. Lamar doesn't get that same kind of like whatever from you. And it's been like that. It's been like that the whole season. The whole season you've been like this.
John,
and I'm just trying to understand like where is the equilibrium? Why is it not equity? We just want equity. That's all I ask for is equity, Hundo. I want to hear. You got to kind of hear. You hear with it. I want to hear. Can we get it there? That's all I ask. That's all I ask. As your co-host, that's all I ask is to be here, brother. Put it here. That's it. Hey. That's all I ask.
Hey, go look at the game logs, man. Go look at the game logs. When they lost, when y'all lost, how did Lamar do? That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so when Josh played Baltimore, how did he do? Was he good or was he bad?
He had a bad game.
Was it on him or was it on the defense?
Oh, it was on him. He definitely had a bad game. I can say that. But my point that I was making is that I think that when y'all lose, the likelihood of Lamar Jackson having a bad game is higher than Josh Allen when they lose, him having a bad game. That's all that I was saying.
Okay.
That was my point in saying that and saying what I said.
Well, I hope that we can put your theory to the test. That's all I can say to that, Hundo. I hope we can put your theory to the test very soon. The playoff starts today, man, and I hope that y'all are tuning in, and I hope that y'all have enjoyed this episode with us here at the Winning Shot Podcast, man. Please like, comment, subscribe. Be in the comments, man. We love y'all in the comments. Repost it, man. Share with your friends. Share with your family. And if you have any topics you want us to talk about, please send us a DM. Please put it in the comments, and we'll be sure to chop it up, man, about these conversations. And we, like Hundo and Connor said, man, we talk about a variety of sports, not just football. We'll be talking about more about the NBA soon. We talk about women's college basketball. Talk about some men's college basketball. As Collin has already had his Crash Out episode on UNC. Hundo kind of had his own episode on women's college basketball. We got Unravel coming up with the W. So those superstars are getting ready to hoop. So we're going to be talking about that. And so we got a lot of good content, man, coming for y'all. So please continue to support. We appreciate y'all always being here with us. Don't know if y'all got anything else to say today, man. I'm just ready. I'm ready to get to. I'm excited, as y'all can tell. I'm pumped. The Ravens play tonight at 8:00, and I'm happy about it, man. We got hours until this playoff game. I'm just can't wait.
Hey, that was great right there, John. That was great. That was a great message right there, man. Shout out to you, man.
Yes, sir.
We just better hope y'all don't lose. That's all I'm saying. You better hope y'all win it all. It's y'all year, ain't it?
Man,
championship or bust, right?
Appreciate y'all being here, man. Now he just trying to get a rise out of me. Right, John? Now he just trying to get a rise out of me, man. You gotta know when to get up out of the situation. I'm telling you.
Remove yourself from the situation.
I'm telling you.
But nah, man, appreciate y'all tapping in with us, man. Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. Like John said, man, hit us in the comments. Y'all got topics, questions, let us know, man.
For sure, man. Love y'all, man. Tune into the next episode. We got a lot of good content coming soon.